Margarita.
Alright.
Talagang Green Convergence, mga buong pangalan natin mga pinagkakalit sa mga
Ang nakaprint ko, pang lola name ko.
Hanggang kagabi, may nagsabi pa sa akin, Jesus Vicente ka pala?
Jesus! Alright, so friends, I'd like to introduce to you once again, JB.
And Mars.
Hello. We
Magandang
will
umaga.
be your MCs this morning. Gentlemen, the Salle Filipiniana Dance Company. Supporter of Green Convergence and a member of the advisory group of Ako Ang Bukas. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome the CEO of First Philippine Holdings Corporation, our green businessman, Mr. Federico Piqui Lopez. A warm round of applause.
Thank you very much, JB and Dean Margarita, for that welcome. You know, before I begin this morning, I thought I just want to ask for your prayers for our EDC plane. Of course, just was the one that went down. The Cessna just went down in Mount Mayon last weekend, and we've not been able to get to the crash site until this morning. What I hear is that they're about a kilometer away. Although it's very, very rough ground, and so we just like to ask for your prayers for what is still a search and rescue operation, and the safety also of the rescuers. And I hope that we're able to make it today, and that we're praying for a miracle. So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The last time I spoke to you face to face was at the Philippine Environment Summit in Cagayan de Oro in February of 2020. And that's probably the last time we all saw each other face to face. Now I still remember just having sold my tickets for an Antarctica trip to a colleague and his wife a few weeks earlier, because we were then in the thick of emergency preparations for the onset of the pandemic. I also remember you almost canceled that summit, but at the last minute got clearance from the DOH. And now, of course, congratulations for making it through the pandemic years and now bouncing back to organize this event with even more determination to scale up the solutions to the climate emergency. Now, over these 3 days, I can see that you have a great program of many of the country's best thought leaders that are weaving threads from their respective fields into a tapestry of solutions to the climate crisis. Now, to gain a better understanding of what this involves, allow me this morning to take you a step back and place it in the context of what the world needs to get to and why. The overriding goal is to solve climate change by mitigating and reversing emissions, as well as adapting to its impacts that are already here and intensifying. Now, because I guess if we don't get it right, the exponential deterioration of global climate systems and the environment is going to make it impossible to solve other problems like poverty, inequality, disease, food production, freshwater scarcity, mass migration, social displacement, the mass extinction of species and biodiversity loss, among others. Now, all of this we will feel during our lifetimes, and they're undeniably accelerating, as we can see in news reports every single day now. Now, recall that Paris COP21 applauded the agreements that signaled that we could limit global warming to 2 degrees Celsius if all commitments were met. Now, since then, the IPCC issued in October 2018 a special report on global warming, followed in 2021 and 2022 by its 6th assessment reports from working groups 1, 2, and 3, all with the dire warnings and consequences for a 2 degrees Celsius warmer world. Now, taken together, they underscored the scientific consensus that our targets must not exceed 1.5 degrees by end century. This target is slipping away from us fast, but the 1.5 degrees must still be our base case. Now, consequently, solving climate change means, in phase 1, that we can reduce greenhouse gas emissions of carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxides, and fluorinated gases from the current 50 gigatons of GHGs per year, and hopefully emissions peak by 2025. Now, this is where most efforts are centered today. Now, we cannot stop here at phase 1, but next in phase 2, we aim further to eliminate all the emissions of GHGs and get to net zero emissions by 2050.
Philippines has always been dealing with floods, typhoons and disasters. And with the increasing sea level, more and more kids are at risk of losing their houses and families. It is really important for us to come together and take actions, because our actions can save hundreds of lives and the future of many children. I believe that it is really important for us to come together to find a solution. And this summit can be your starting point. Come together, discuss the problem, and work with your community to find solutions. But with all this work that you're doing with your community, do not forget that your personal actions matter as well. I believe that firstly, we have to change ourselves before changing the world.
My name is Jose Andres Canvel, but I think many people struggle with that because my friends call me Ongi. And I request you to just call me Ongi. Pati sa opisina, if you call and you ask for Attorney Canvel, they will say, ha? Sino yun? Nandiyan pa si Ongi? Nandiyan sa... So, I work with the Forest Foundation Philippines. We've worked with the Green Convergence and we've supported the past environmental summits. And it's always been a pleasure to interact with its leaders, to interact with its members, but I think more importantly today, to interact with a new set, with new members perhaps, with new constituents in this room. I think more than 60% of our attendees are young and young people. Of course, there are many who are still young at heart, so okay lang tayo. And then this morning, I've been tasked to talk about our foundation, to talk about our work, to talk about forests in the Anthropocene. The foundation is a grant-giving foundation. We strive to grow forests, grow opportunities and options for communities who depend on forests. We'd like to grow partnerships and build on collaborative actions, and we'd like to grow constituencies. Our actions that we support are in our website. We also have a booth that instead of spending the next few minutes, I'd rather that you just visit our booth so that I can talk about other things and pick up from what Sir Piki said. Forests have a key role in the Anthropocene. And as Sir Piki said, we can contribute up to 5 gigatons if we do it well. And forests do contribute in terms of litigation, in terms of adaptation, and in our most current strategy and in our most current approach that we want to support through nature-based solutions. We will have opportunities to talk about this tomorrow. There's going to be a session, may advertisement na. There's going to be a session tomorrow on nature-based solutions. Please sign up where we will be part of a panel of CSOs, community members, the private sector, and the academe will talk about nature-based solutions.
Presentations, but most of all, we'd like to thank all of the participants. We're overwhelmed, we're very much impressed with your outputs. We will continue to listen to the voices, and we would like to invite you all to be part of the transformation. Thank you very much.
Environment changes, our society is also changing. But you are a big part of that society because that's where the energy and the knowledge creation is actually the most dynamic. And so we rely on you to actually fuel the changes that the DENR is able to achieve in this administration. Let me just say, and I said it earlier, the President in his State of the Nation address said one very important statement. The preservation of the environment is the preservation of life. The ecosystems that support all our different cities, municipalities, and communities are in our hands. The DENR is only here to support and to guide and perhaps to somehow steer the ship towards ecosystem integrity. The actual work is in your hands. We've just come from a meeting of all the municipal mayors in the country. There are over 1,400 of them. As we looked around the room, we felt, generationally, this is not our future. And certainly, this was not representative of our country today. Our country today is really represented by you. And so we look to you, in fact, to help us steer this ship. Let me just say that I look around the room and I feel there's a little bit of a gender imbalance here in this room. A little bit. Can all of the women, young women, stand up, please? Please have a big hand for all our young women. Gentlemen, you are officially a minority. Thank you very much, gentlemen. So let me just say that we are here to listen, and we look forward to hearing from you individually or within these workshops continuously over this day and tomorrow. And please, come forward, come to say hello. I'd like to meet all of you, those of you who are especially at the universities. Let me just say one particular view that I'd like to espouse. You cannot be disciplinal. You need to be transdisciplinal to actually solve these complex issues that are facing us today. And by transdisciplinary work, I mean you need to listen to communities, to non-traditional partners in society, not just to your professors, not just to professional researchers, but to those who actually work within the communities and the communities themselves. So transdisciplinarity should be the direction of all our learning institutions, because we are living in a volatile and uncertain and complex world. So for those of you who are concentrating on one single discipline, open your minds, share what you know, and ask questions of those that are not within your specific discipline. This is the most important, I think, advice I can give all of you. There's not one single dimension here to this problem of really coming together for our future. Complexity is where we are at this point. And therefore, transdisciplinarity in terms of your own education, your own experiences, your own profession moving forward should be at the core of your work. So thank you very much. And please come forward. I'll be very happy to have conversations with those of you who would like to exchange views on what we can do together in the future. Thank you.
Video. Sorry. Oh, kaway lang po, everyone. Alright, thank you. Good.